Hey there. I know it's May and I'm wearing a sweater. It's a cold day. Anyway, welcome to the May mini masterclass. This is the art of self-command. Okay, so we're going to be talking about something that I think a lot of women are feeling right now, but don't always have the right language for. And that looks like, you're functioning, you're handling things, you're doing what needs to be done. But internally, right, you feel more pulled or pulled around than you want to. Things are more mentally loud than you want them to be. More, you're feeling, I like to call it this way, right? More emotionally recruitable than you want to be, and more affected by other people, other pressures, those things outside of you, other moods, other interruptions, and sometimes even your own body, right? Is being it's screaming at you more than it used to. Yeah. So for a lot of women, especially women that are carrying real responsibilities, most of us, yeah, right? Like that starts to create a very specific kind of exhaustion for us. Yeah. And it's not because we're incapable, not because we're weak, not because you need to go and disappear for 6 months and become some different person. And I want to bring all the men in here also, right? Because I know you guys have your version of this. So believe me, I'm not leaving you out, right? Um, but here's the deal. It's more because we're spending too much of our lives being internally run by whatever shows up first, right? So it could be a mood, it could be a text message, a delay in something, a disappointment. A lot of times it's somebody else's tone, an unfinished task, right? Like it just nags at you. A hard conversation we know we got to have or that we just had to have. Our body, right? Like if it just feels off, a brain that just won't settle, right? Like it just keeps going and going and going. Or a day that just, you know what? I don't know, from the moment I opened my eyes, already started too fast, right? And so what starts happening is your internal state becomes negotiable. And once that internal state of being becomes negotiable, right? Like your clarity also gets negotiable. Your steadiness also gets negotiable. The authority that you want to carry in your life gets negotiable. And eventually, what happens is your self trust starts getting negotiated away, right? So that's what I want to talk about because I think most people, men and women, right, don't need more self control. I think what's truly missing is that internal self command. Okay. So we'll start by, cleaning a few things up here, right? Because the problem is not just that we're stressed. That word gets thrown around so casually that it almost means nothing now. I will start out a session with somebody and the first words out of their mouth is busy, right? Busy. stressed, busy. So the problem is not just stress. The problem is that a lot of us, most of us, women for sure, and men, we've adapted to living in this constant state of internal pulling, right? So if we think about, the difference, right? Like men, a lot of times they get up, they go to work, and not always, right? This is a little traditional in the sense, but moms get up, they get the kids ready, they do all the household things, and they go to work, and they go to the grocery store, and they have I don't know, right? Vet appointments, or whatever, right? Like, so there's just generally speaking, there's a little more juggling going on, right? So they're pulled by responsibilities, pulled by emotional labor, right? Like the phone that just rings, it's the sister, it's the mom, it's the mother-in-law, it's the coworker, right? It's the kids that mom, the boy pulled my hair, I don't know, right? Like, so we get pulled by this emotional labor, but we're also pulled by this overthinking, pulled by everyone else's needs, pulled by this urgency of, which of course then leads to being pulled by guilt, all the mental tabs that we're trying to keep straight, right? That the overstimulation. Then we're pulled by our relief seeking and pulled by the quiet pressure to stay functional, agreeable, composed, responsive, and productive all at the same time. And that does something to a person, right? Right? It makes stillness feel unfamiliar. It can make peace feel very conditional. It makes that art of pause harder to access. And it makes reaction feel faster than choice. And then, because we're all smart and capable, right? We often don't say, I'm outsourced, right? Like, I'm spent. Can't take on another thing. I can't think of another thing, right? Instead, we say things like, I'm just tired. I've just got a lot going on right now, right? That's just how I am. I'm fine. I just need to get through this week. And meanwhile, what's going on, their internal leadership is leaking all over the place. And it matters that we start paying attention, because the longer that you live that way, right, the easier it is to mistake survival patterns as your personality. So let's talk about self-command, because people misunderstand this self-command all the time, and so we'll talk about what it's not, right? Like, so self-command, it's not suppression, it's not shove it down, right? It's also not hold on tight, like that white knuckling. It's not becoming super robotic, regimented, rigid. It's not pretending like you don't care about all of these things that, right? And because when we do that, we become emotionally flat, and we don't want that either. And it's definitely not becoming so regulated that you stop feeling like an alive being, right? We all know what that feels like. to just all of a sudden go, God, I don't even feel like I'm living. I don't feel like a real person. And it's definitely not this one, okay? And I need you to hear this one. It's not controlling everybody around you better. I hear it a lot, right? If they would only, I would, right? When they, whatever, right? I'll be able to. No. So a lot of people hear something like self-command, and they instantly translate it into things that they need to do, right? Like be quieter. I need to be less needy, right? Less emotional. Hide it better. I got to keep it together better. I need to look stronger. Right? Till you make it. And that's not what I'm talking about. Because the version of control that looks like, right? Like that, be less needy, be less emotional, keep it together, right? That version, when you lean into that, what you're doing is actually disconnecting you from yourself, right? So you're disconnecting, and disconnected people, right? They're not in command of their own life. They're protected, and that's different, right? So this isn't about becoming hard, like hard, dig your heels in, and I don't want you to think of this as right. I'm going to become impressive. I'm just going to go, ooh, right? It's all about becoming internally led. And for those of you who have spent any time with me, I'm going to say, like, how do you want to see yourself experiencing living? How do you want to experience your environments? And how do you want to be received inside of those environments, right? That's being internally led. And self-command is the ability to stay in a relationship with yourself first, while something inside of you is trying to take over, right? That's it. Something inside is trying to take over, pull you out here, throw you out there, take it all on. And you say, my relationship with myself says there's a better way, right? So when something gets loud, right, and screaming at you, and you don't instantly obey it, right? You can feel hurt without handing all of your hurt the microphone, right? You can feel angry without letting your anger write your tone, right? Like you can be angry and have a normal tone of voice. You can feel pressure even without letting pressure run your decisions. You can be insecure or feel insecurity without making it the narrator of your story. You can even feel disappointment without building some identity around it. Because that's self-command. Right? It says, I feel angry. How do I want to see myself articulate that? How do I want to be received? Yeah. So I want you to hear this, right? I want you to hear this clearly. Self-command. Self-command, my friend, is not the absence of activation. Okay? We will always be activated. But what it is the presence of self-leadership inside of that activation. It means, hey, guess what? I still felt it. I still noticed it. I was still affected by it, but I did not abandon myself and how I want to see myself experiencing living in the process. And that is a very, very different standard than perfection. And honestly, it's so much more useful. But here's the thing, right? I get asked this question, why does it feel harder now that I know these things, right? Like, why does it feel harder? And so there's a few reasons. One, life gets louder, right? Life gets louder. The older men and women get, the more layers there often are, right? There's more responsibility. We have more decisions, more relationship complexity, more physical truth from the body, right? I don't know about you, but right, mine keeps getting louder. More consequence from poor sleep, more emotional labor. We have less tolerance for nonsense. And often we have less room for recovery time from living badly. And that's just real, right? That's just the reality of it all. Too many women and men have been conditioned, right, to track everyone else before themselves. So what I mean by this is they can tell you exactly what someone else is feeling. They can tell you basically, right? Like they can walk into any room and tell you what that room needs. And tell you what the mood is, what the tension is. They can even tell you, what might go wrong? What things need smoothing over? What things need fixing? What things need responding to? But ask them, right? Ask them what's happening inside of them early enough to lead it, and that gets fuzzy, right? I don't know. They're all confused. They get all shocked. I see it all day, every day, right? It's because it's not, look, it's not because they don't know how to read people. I talk to people all the time. They're highly emotionally intelligent. And they're great at reading people. And believe me, I hear it all the time. I'm an empath. I feel everything from everybody in my environment. It's great. Let's start with you, right? So it's not a lack of intelligence. It's more so because awareness, right, has been trained to focus outward. And of course, a lot of people are just simply physically under supported in ways that it's so quiet, right? Like it's such a quiet little thing, but it makes self-command harder, right? And so I'll just, call them out, right? Like people aren't eating enough lean, healthy, clean protein. They're having far too much caffeine, long gaps without eating, chronic overstimulation, because even when they're sitting on the couch, they're doing this, right? Which creates sleep disruption, Stress stacking, I see that one a lot. The reward seeking patterns, and a nervous system that has gotten too used to urgency, constant input, and quick relief. So now what's happening for them is that it's not just emotional, it's physiological too. And then those things stack. And people become even more recruitable, more emotionally recruitable, more mentally recruitable, more relationally recruitable. Right? Pulled out, pulled out, pulled out. And that's when all of a sudden, right, someone's tone can change your whole afternoon. That's why just one little text can reorganize your entire nervous system. And that's why one little disappointment, or big, right, right, can make you feel like the whole day has just been a pile of crap, right? Because self-command is not just about values, it's about access. So I'm going to give you 3 shifts that honestly matter. Okay. Shift number 1, stop asking, why am I like this? And start asking yourself, what recruits me the fastest? Because that question changes the whole conversation. Now, we're not diagnosing your personality, right? We're identifying your pulls, the things that are pulling you out. What recruits you the fastest, right? Is it someone's mood? Is it being misunderstood? Feeling behind? Is it silence? Is it disappointment? Is it a body that feels off? Is it uncertainty? Is it not getting the response you wanted? I know for a lot of people, feeling dismissed is a big one, right? This question gives you leverage, okay? So shift 2, stop confusing relief, personal leadership. Now, this is a big one, okay? A lot of people are not choosing what leads. They are choosing what relieves, okay? So the quick text, the over explaining, the sharp response, the snack, the scroll, the shutdown. Like this next one, right? I call it the reassurance hunt, right? Like I call my friend, tell them all the things, let them tell me how great, right? The need to settle the room immediately, like, right? Relief feels productive because it changes the feeling quickly. But personal leadership asks a different question, my friend. It asks, what's going to protect my authority best right here? And that's much more useful. So shift 3 is build a way back to yourself before you need it. Okay. So, and what I mean is, you see the anxiety coming. Okay, cool. Here it comes. Right here, right now, in this moment, what do I need to do? Right? To sit in and move through. And a lot of people get real stuck here. They want to be more consistent, but they just don't have that return structure. Okay. So they oh, here comes the anxiety, and they run with it instead of saying, let me go sit in, go through, right, and move on from it. So they don't have a return structure. So they don't have a sentence. They don't have a pause. There's no interruption set in there, right? Like that interrupter. There's no pattern awareness. And there's just no plan, basically, for what they do when they start leaving themselves. So, of course, they keep getting pulled. Now, with self-command, as it gets stronger, when return becomes more practiced, not perfect. So it's, here comes the anxiety. Right here, right now, in this moment, I feel anxious. What's driving this? Right? How much of it is for me or about me, and how much is for or about something outside of me? What do I need to do for me in this time and space going forward to improve it? Right. And that's just a standard old corn on physical feeling check-in, right? Sit in and move through. Okay. That's how you return to self before it spirals out into there, right? Just not perfect, right? It just has to be practiced. So if I were to leave you with anything today in this mini masterclass that I think I've gone pretty over my time slot that I planned for this today. But if I was to leave you with anything, it would be this, okay? You don't need to become less human. You don't need to become less emotional. You don't need to become less sensitive, and you don't need to become more controlling, okay? You need, right? You need stronger internal leadership. You need to know what pulls you. You need to stop normalizing the places where you abandon yourself. You need to stop asking other people outcomes, moods, and conditions to hand your steadiness back to you. Quit relying on something outside of you for your peace, joy, comfort, relief, value, validity, and worthiness. And you need to start building a way, more me, right? Like building a way to return to yourself that feels real enough to use in ordinary life, right? Whoop, here it comes. Sit in, move through, pass it on, right? Because that's where power gets cleaner. It's not louder, it's cleaner. It's not more impressive. It's just more dependable. And in my opinion, and I eat, sleep, breathe this, right? I tell myself all the time, right? Sit in and move through it. Take that pause. Figure out how I want to see myself, right? That's what a lot of women and men are actually hungry for right now. Right? People aren't looking for another message about being resilient. They're not looking for another performance of empowerment. Not another generic conversation about self-care, right? We all want to know how to actually apply skills and tactics that will actually create the outcome that we're hungry for, right? Real self-command, real self-access, real internal authority. It's different. And believe me, it changes everything. So if this is resonating with you, for you, this is the kind of work that we do inside the Insight and Impact Focus Group. Yeah, it's not surface level motivation. It's not therapy language repackaged into pretty quotes. It's real emotional leadership. It's real pattern interruption. It's real self-command. Because the goal is not to look like you have it all together. The goal is to know how to come back to yourself when life gets loud. It's about seeing yourself, experiencing, living the way that you desire. Anyway, if I can answer any questions for you, don't hesitate to reach out.